Hi, G here. Welcome to my 1 month review of the Mitsubishi Outlander. This is episode 7, and I've owned the car now for 36 days. This is my 36th day today. I've had the actual car at the house here. This is my 34th day, and I'm going to give you some running costs up until yesterday. So I've got 33 days of having the car here since I returned from Perth, and then I can sort of give you a rundown on what it's cost. Before I do that though, I'm just going to give a general quickly review of the car, how I'm going with it. So I'm going great with it. In a word, it's exceeded my expectations. It's very comfortable, its performance, everything like that I like about the car. There's only a couple of little niggling things I don't like about it, but on the whole, it's a very easy car to live with. Very easy just to come home and charge it and so on. So there you can see my solar system, which I have on the roof if you haven't already seen it in my other videos. And of course I've got the wall charger there, and I just come home and plug it in. It takes about 10 seconds and away I go with, pretty much 95% of the time free power from the sun. So other likes about the car, I would say the space is definitely great. It's deceptively large. There's really plenty of room to comfortably sit 4 adults in the car. I've done one long trip on it as well, which is in my earlier videos, and I had no issues at all with driving it on a long trip. So, brakes, steering, all that stuff is good. And the boot here is also deceptively large, even though there's no spare tire and it's got a battery pack. It's more than adequate. Now, moving on to something which I perhaps don't like, if you keep your eye on the middle part of the dashboard here, there's a little light which will come on in a minute. So basically I'm driving along, there you go. You can say EV mode cancelled, cruise control set. So if you're in EV mode only, which is a button you can press, unfortunately when you put it into cruise control, it will cancel that mode. It won't cancel the electric part of it. You'll stay in electric motor mode, but it will cancel that exclusivity of it. So the problem is, if you forget to put it back into that, I find you're more likely to jump into petrol mode. In other words, if you don't press that EV only button, I feel like the car is more likely to go into petrol mode, which, you can still go into petrol. It still will jump in there if you're in EV only mode, if you floor it, if the car needs the power. But, I enjoy driving it in EV only mode, and it's a little bit annoying when that happens. So that would probably be a downside criticism. I'm going to make a video more detailed about that coming up, so you can learn a bit more about that if you want to. And very quickly, something I also mentioned in a previous video was regarding the unit settings. That also still seems to reset. I haven't quite worked that out, but more on that later as well. So on to fuel usage and so on. And you can see, for like in an earlier video, you can see that the fuel gauge has barely moved since I've come back home and I put a little bit of fuel into it. I've estimated I've maybe used 2 litres of fuel. The first graph here is from the Fev Watchdog app, which I started using on the 5th of October when I got home. And that has all sorts of information on it. It details the battery condition, the kilometres, the date, and so on. And then this next graph is what I took yesterday. So you can see the date, the kilometers, and everything in the time which I've used that car, the 33 days. Okay, so now let me take you through some of the figures. So the date on the left obviously is the date when I started using the Watchdog app, and that's what the kilometers read when I started the app. And you can see was yesterday's. Since I've come home, I've done 858 kilometers in 33 days. So just out of interest, that works out to 26 kilometers per day. So this is next bit is a little bit interesting. So I'm not sure how totally accurate they are, but you can see that 47.6% of the car, 4,309 kilometers, when I started using the app, had been done in electric mode. So this is what percentages is in electric mode. So a little bit less than half of the travel. Now since I've used it in just over a month, I've managed to get that up to 54.9% in pure electric mode. So I've managed to get that up quite a bit. So, and I imagine that percentage will just keep going up the longer that I own the car, because obviously I don't need to use the petrol much. And then now moving on to this next bit, this is how many days the car, since the batteries were installed in the car, since it was activated. So when I got it, or when I started using the app, I should say, 511 days. And the number underneath is how many battery cycles, so full battery cycles. So it's done 81, or had done 81, and then that's gone up now obviously to 103, and it's now 543 days since the batteries were started to be used with the car. So yeah, so there's definitely lots of information on these graphs that you can look at. Yeah, probably too much information in a way, but also quite useful. Okay, so now to running costs, so bear with me here. So out of the 33 days to yesterday, 27 days I pretty much just charged using the solar. So, and out of those, only 2 days were cloudy. So pretty much 25 days was totally free. I'll do some figures in a minute. And out of the 6 days I did need to charge in the evening, only 2 days the battery was totally empty, and 4 days I only needed to charge for about an hour. So here in Western Australia, we've got a flat energy cost. So if you do draw from the grid, you're looking at 27.32 cents per kilowatt hour. So roughly the 2 days when it was cloudy, I've worked out I probably had to draw about 12 kilowatt hours. And in the evenings, the 2 days when it was totally empty, I had to draw about 24 kilowatt hours. And there was 4 days when it wasn't totally empty, and I only drew probably about 14 kilowatt hours on those days. So I've drawn a total of 50 kilowatt hours, I estimate roughly. So about 50 kilowatt hours, times that by 27.32 cents per kilowatt hour, and I've come up with around about $13.66 of electricity in those 33 days. So just out of interest, I probably used about 2 litres of petrol as well, I estimate. So even at $2 a litre, that's, maybe $4 of petrol, I estimate, since I've come here. I also probably used about 50 litres getting the car here, towing the trailer. So, 50 litres, say $2 as well, probably $100 as well to actually get the car here. So yeah, but really only $2 since I've come here. It is pretty good in terms of petrol costs. So that concludes my 1 month review of the Mitsubishi Outlander PHEV. So could this car be the car for you? Well, as you can see, it could be. If you're able to keep your kilometres, below 50 if you're not towing, and below 30 if you are towing, perhaps it could be. If you've got solar too, even better. But of course the secret is to plug it in every day and charge it so that you can use the electric mode. That's what it's designed for. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Take care, and we'll see you soon. Bye.